We're going to get started if you're ready. Great. Well, we'll go get started. We have a nice small group. The first session we have, I think, 17, 18 people, almost out of seats, which is really good to see. My name is Brad Morrow. I'm the account executive for Blackboard. I'm responsible for the larger California Community College system relationship for Blackboard. We also have Sue Burst, and I apologize for skipping you. You blended in. Sue is our Customer Success Advocate, CSA for short. You may have met Sue last time she was here doing a faculty engagement day, but really her role is to really partner and work with individual colleges to make sure you're getting the most out of Learn and your Blackboard solutions. So you're not using it, and there's tips and tricks and plenty of things she can do. So she's a great resource. I apologize for skipping over. David Gibson, our Director of Solutions Engineering, is here as well. He's going to take a deeper dive into the new Ultra experience within Learn. So we'll, where we're going with Learn, how it's going to look, all that fun stuff. And Mark Strassman is our Senior Vice President for Industry and Product Management. He's the guy driving the ship in terms of product direction. A large team underneath him that's when Mark came on board, is really looking at how can we bring the products and solutions that you want, right? So we've been spending a lot of time listening to our customers, making sure that what we bring to market is something that makes sense to you. So Mark's going to dive into a little bit of a background of where we're going with Blackboard, what we've been working on, what he's been working on over the last couple of years, to get a bigger picture of understanding of why we're doing the things that we're doing. Small enough group, real quick. School you're with, I'm assuming most everybody here is with Crafton Hills. So maybe just a quick around the room, school you're with, department, kind of your role at the college.
Crafton Hills, teaching computer science and psychology, teaching chemistry and educational technology.
Perfect.
I'm CEO of Brand IT, Psychology, World Religion, here at Crafton.
Perfect. Great. School, name, school you're with, and your role on campus.
I'm Alan White. I'm with Crafton Hills College. I'm the academic resident, and I'm also the education coordinator.
Perfect. Thank you.
Judy Jorgensen, I'm the foreigner here.
Over
From San Bernardino Valley College, and I'm with the architecture program here. Anna Lutter, structural technology specialist in the district office here at San Bernardino.
You have to do it again.
Oh, I'm Michelle of Victor Valley College. I'm your instructional designer for education.
I'm Diane Purvis. I'm teach biology here at Crafton.
Great. So again, thank you for joining us, taking the time out of your day. We recognize that there's some pretty big decisions that are having to take place on each of the campuses. Our goal here is to make sure that we answer all your questions, show you all the fun, neat things that we're working on, that we think we're doing some great progress on, and bring some really awesome products and solutions. That ultimately we want to help make that decision easier for you. Before I hand it over, I threw some numbers up here because somebody asked in an earlier session last week, how many schools actually use Learn across the system, right? And it varies. So I just want to set some context. 4,073. So 4,000, big number. That's actually the number of courses online in the CBC course catalog right now for fall that are using Learn. That's out of a little over 10,000. So you're like about 40% of all the online courses are using Learn.
What's CBC?
California Virtual College. So there's a fall catalog where you can actually go in and see all the online courses, not only for California community colleges, CSUs, UCs, privates like Cal Lutheran, Cal Baptist. You can see everything that's being offered. If you go down and filter that down based on community colleges, you can see the numbers. Yes?
I need a little bit of a clarification here. When you say learn, is learn the same thing as Blackboard? Is learn a special version of Blackboard? Is learn the next piece of car? Is learn Blackboard what Cadillac, Chevy? How does it work?
Great question, and I'm glad you stopped me. I can let you answer it if you want to give a little more detail. I mean,
Learn is the asynchronous learning platform that is produced by the company called Blackboard. Back in the day, which in your case you've been around for all of this, right? So we've already had that conversation. And when Blackboard first started, it was the only product Blackboard had. We are a long way from there. And so we have the Learn platform, which is the asynchronous learning management system. Then we have Blackboard Collaborate, which is the synchronous webinar platform. And then there are other pieces like Blackboard Connect, Blackboard Transact, Blackboard, our Blackboard Student, our mobile app, and so some other pieces. Blackboard is just the company, and Learn is actually the learning platform.
Although most people call Learn Blackboard.
Yes, and we're good at translating, so mostly we roll with it when you call us whatever. Just don't call us late for dinner.
If I rephrase, 4,000 courses are online using Blackboard, right? Blackboard Learn. 49 schools across the colleges and centers, so about 41% are using Blackboard as their LMS, right? So you start looking at
Even he uses Blackboard to talk about the LMS.
The impact of this footprint and those that are actually using Blackboard Learn in their classrooms is huge, right? And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of kind of the big picture across the system. Other thing I want to throw up here, because I want to make sure that when we're looking at the decision that schools are faced with, there's a lot that goes into it beyond just cost, right? There's the cost of change. There's the cost in terms of hours for migrating courses, course cleanup. So you start thinking about all the courses that you have in your share of that 4,000. This is even using it for the courses that are face-to-face or in the hybrid method or model. If you convert these courses over to Canvas, who's going to do the cleanup, right? Who's going to make sure that things work? It's all going to fall on the campus instructors to actually clean things up. The number I threw up here was 8,700. So over 8,000 hours were estimated by Purdue when they did their evaluation of Canvas and Blackboard Learn, and they estimated that over 8,000 hours is going to be needed to convert all of their courses over to Canvas, right? So big impact that's beyond just the actual cost of an LMS. So I wanted to throw that up there so you can kind of get it in context. They have 30,000 students. I think it was about I don't know the exact number, 5,000 courses they converted. We look at 10,000 courses across the system, over 2 million students. You can start to back out the math and recognize there's significant impact. So just wanted to throw it out there. So small group, if you have any questions as we go through this, please raise your hand. I want to make sure that we answer everything and all your questions and you see what you want to see moving forward. So with that, Mark.
Great, thank you. And no need to raise your hand, just blurt out. We got a small enough group. My name is Mark Strassman. I'm in charge of what we call products and industry management at Blackboard. We talked about the naming and all the different products we have. Blackboard has both built many products and has been a very acquisitive company, acquiring a lot of small companies. So we have Learn, we acquired the company called Collaborate, we acquired the group that returned to mobile, we have Connect, we have all these different products. And they were all, up until 2 years ago, completely developed, designed, tested, sold separately. Over the past couple of years, I came on about 2 years ago, we started bringing them all together, central development group, central design group, to really think not about separate products, but different workflows. So, while we refer to Learn generically as Blackboard now, I think that's more how we want our customers to feel like the experience in the future. If they use Blackboard, it's a combination of collaboration and notification and mobile experiences all together. So we're spending a lot of time looking at workflows. So this is the standard things the lawyers make me show. I'm going to show you most of what we're showing today is shipping, but we're also showing some roadmaps. So you shouldn't sue us if we don't ship things exactly when we say we're going to, but I'll be very clear about what's available and what's not. I want to talk a little bit up front, and a few of you heard this already, so I apologize for repeating the story for those of you who are seeing this as a repeat here. I want to talk a little bit about the new Blackboard, what we're doing at Blackboard, kind of our mission going forward, and how that is driving our product strategy. I wanted to share kind of 6 things that I use with my group to kind of measure how we're building our products. Explosive innovation, I call them here. Specifically going some depth on the roadmap on Learn, Collaborate, and mobile. And then more interestingly, ended up save it to actually show these products. And along the way, stop me, interrupt me. I will try to go through the slides pretty quickly. Again, I want to provide some background on where we're coming from and the strategy of them, but I know you're eager to see the products as well. I've certainly noticed that in education, there's all sorts of challenges in the educational space. One of the reasons I came to Blackboard, I have 3 kids in various stages of education and see kind of what they're looking for, how they're looking at what they want their career to be, how they're learning in K-12, and it's very different than it was 3 or 4 years ago, and our world is different from when I was a child. They're more looking at the ROI of their education. A lot of them aren't satisfied by their learning experience. They're more consumers of education than they have been in the past, and they're making choices in a way they have, in a way they never have before. Couple of examples, and one is this is a picture from a recent Uber ride I took, and I find that the majority of Uber drivers, and I love taking Ubers to talk to the drivers because it's a job you can have that you can take rides whenever you want it, you can stop when you want, you can start when you want, so very flexible. And I find that most of the people who are driving Ubers are doing something else at the same time, and a lot of them are in a career transition. And I find that almost 8 out of 10 of the ones they talk to are actually taking some sort of education. Some sort of part-time education to move from one career to another. And this was 3 weeks ago. I was going to the airport in San Francisco. That's right, Liz. And Elizabeth was the driver. And I was talking with Elizabeth, asked how long she'd been with Uber, and driving for a few months. She has a PhD in chemical electrical engineering. Was commuting an hour and a half each day because all the chemical electrical engineering jobs are in the South Bay, and she lives in the North Bay. And she has a young child, and her husband works north, and she doesn't want to commute anymore, and there aren't any specific PhD chemical electrical engineering jobs. She wants to start teaching, but she needs certain technical skills and education skills to do it. So she's actually taking classes both at Dominican University and College of Marin. And between classes, she's taking some of the classes online, some in person, and between them, she's driving an Uber. So someone who has a PhD, but that degree hasn't worked for her. That's my cousin, Thomas, and my 2 kids, Ben and Mia. And we actually visited in the summer. He's a baker in Denmark. And the whole baking education apprenticeship is long. He's a head baker at a small bakery. And all small bakeries are closing, and you've got to go to big bakeries. He was a manager at a small bakery and wants to be a manager going forward. But in the big bakeries, you need computer skills, you need certain management credentials, which he doesn't have. So he's taking online courses to get those he needs to move to the next level in his career. So, I share these because these stories have 2 things in common. These learners are not well served by the traditional education experience, and the systems kind of fail to meet their needs. And they're not unique, right? There's 1 billion learners out there, and the increase in enrollments is astounding. And so there's huge change going on. And this is why I came to Blackboard. I've been in a lot of different technology companies and spent time with students in a lot of institutions. But the opportunity, seeing the huge boom in students, the change in education, the change in needs of students, students looking at education as something they consume, questioning the ROI, Blackboard's in a great place to help lead a revolution in education. So we spent a lot of time over the past couple of years, focusing on what that means. And it really is about focusing on the learner. 1 billion learners out there, we need to serve their needs. I think Blackboard traditionally comes to a place where we haven't served learners. 15 years ago, came out with an LMS that was focused on administrators. And administrators putting a system in place to allow administrators and students, faculty to push things to students. But we spent much less time thinking about the learners themselves. We're changing our focus very specifically. But really, the two constants that matter are the learner and the teacher. And we think the learner's been forgotten for way too long. So we have a lot of great technology. We have functionality across our products. How do we take that and make true learner-focused workflows? We spent a bunch of time within the past 2 years looking at our mission and vision, and really set our mission, which we share widely, is to reimagine education. Education is changing, and we want to be in a place to help reimagine education and to help you reimagine education. Also see it, Blackboard traditionally served an institution. Sold institution software, a student had that experience with an institution, went on and lost it all. We are the biggest educational technology company in K-12, in higher ed, and in professional education. So many students experience us in K-12 and experience us in higher ed, maybe with a different interface, a totally different login, then take classes online later. Again, they don't have any of their competencies, they have their course materials, different logins, different experiences. We have the opportunity and the obligations to tie that together into an education continuum. And really the way to do that is to focus on the learner. So we're focusing all of our research and development on the learner. Our head of design, John Kolko, actually just had an article on design thinking in the Harvard Business Review last month. And he's really grown a huge team, I think 3 or 4 times the size of our design team previously, focused on learners. They do a lot of contextual inquiry research. So they follow students around in their dorm rooms, in their cars, in the library, looking at how they use technology, but moreover looking how they learn, and then using those learnings to gain insights into what we should do in our software. So some of those insights. There's a lot of facts and figures out there about, 85%, 90%, 60, whatever it is, non-traditional learners. We think there are no traditional learners. No learners are really just going to elementary, going to high school, going to 4-year and doing their thing. It doesn't work that way anymore. So recognizing that, we need to make products and services that support learners across the life cycle once they change their mind. You want to change your career, where you're going, what you want your major to be. What does that mean? We need to support those decisions within our products. We also realize the institution of academia has become driven by quantitative metrics, but at the expense of the creativity. So we need to take all the metrics we're gathering within our products and integrate analytics into them to make the data actionable, so that educators can celebrate the data, but as part of the learning process. And above all, academia needs to support the learner's journey by building a sense of self as much as it is about knowledge acquisition. So this is, really one of the keys we've come to, looking at learner empathy. That learners along the way, especially when they're first entering an institution, they're not quite sure what they're doing. They choose schools for capricious reasons. They choose majors for capricious reasons. They feel like they're in it all alone. They feel like everyone else is choosing their major and I haven't. Everyone else is ready for the exam and I'm not. Let them know they're not in it alone and they've got things to support their decisions along the way. So we need to help them identify their strengths and interests in a collaborative, supportive context. So in terms of what this means for their products is building in collaboration tools. Letting users say, hey, we see you're having a problem here. Building in data analytics so that they can connect. They realize they're having a problem, they can connect with professors. They can connect with other students. So a real focus of the design team is to minimize anxiety in learners. It's actually funny. This is the big line of John Kolko, our designer, and I just took a picture and sent him an email. I saw the test machine out in the hallway where you can buy test forms and green books and the bubble charts out there. And it just made me think that's how you increase anxiety in learners. They're upset about a test. They don't have correct change. They can't get the form to take their test. I just sent them a photo of that. So we're really focused at Blackboard on what we're calling the new learning experience. And I'm going to read this. The new approach to education that fosters better engagement, interaction, and quality learning through the delivery of leading-edge technology, services, and data capabilities. So getting back to the products discussion, we used to talk about all of our different products, and here's the features here, here's the features here. We're in the process of bringing them together into integrated workflow. So when we talk about the new learning experience, it's about a focus on the learner. It's about a delightful new user experience, not just reskinning our products or adding new graphics and colors. It's creating an experience. It's looking at the workflows customers use in our products, what the users are doing, both in terms of learners and professors, to provide an experience that is just vastly improved, and we'll show that. Going from product to workflows, so moving in and out of different functionality between course delivery and synchronous and asynchronous learning and notification and being on a device, all just being part of a continuum of a workflow. Accessible and always-on environment. We provide our software mostly in the cloud. We also have versions that are on-premise, but in an environment that's always on. And having integrated data and analytics. We have all these products. We have all these log files. There's all this data that we haven't done much with. We're starting to make that more and more accessible to the teachers and the learners. So instead of just looking at products and what features are, we start with looking at the day in life of our students. What are students doing? What are learners doing during the day? And we have different charts for and different personas for higher ed and for K-12 and for folks in corporate education. But for instance, the student might wake up and check a class schedule on a mobile device. They might submit an assignment, attend a study group, do homework, find out their grades, figure out what's coming online tomorrow, buy textbooks, and so forth. So starting with what do they do? And kind of where do they do it? Right? They might on mobile apps, they might do things in course, they might do things virtually. And then we think, okay, how do we take our products and fit into this workflow? What products are they using? And how do we seamlessly tie those together? So while we're focusing, and I've talked a lot about the learner, the new learning experience, we look at all the different constituents in the institution. For teachers and instructors, about engaging learners and assessing performance. For administrators, for tracking and management. For IT departments, having easy deployments, pushing out new features with no downtime, and so forth. In terms of the technology framework of the new learning experience, we're delivering our next generation LMS. So we have Learn 9.1. Learn has been in the market for 15 years. When we talk about next generation, we're actually building on all the technology, on the business rules and the business logic that have been in Learn. We're building new workflows on top of it, a new user experience on top of it, and we put it on a cloud stack. But really, all the business logic is there. So while it's the next generation, it's built on the previous generation. New browser-based web conferencing. So we've had Collaborate for many years, based on Java, rich functionality for the classroom, but again, a whole new experience based on new front-end technology. Rolling out role-specific mobile apps. So for each of our applications, for Learn, for Collaborate, for Transact, for Connect, we have separate mobile applications. Now we have a single app for each persona type. So we have BB Student, a student app that allows them to get to teaching and learning content, collaboration. Yes?
Major question here.
Yeah.
We are very much concerned with mobile devices here at this college, both for distance learning, asynchronous courses, and for synchronous on-ground courses.
Yep.
One of the major topics of interest and concern for us has been cross-platform compatibility.
Right.
So when you talk about role-specific mobile apps, our concern is that we have something that's going to work on this generation iPhone, that generation Android, this kind of thing that you have. Are your apps that cross-platform?
So our new apps actually, so we're moving, we had Mobile Learn, we had previous apps. Our next generation apps we have on Android. I can't tell you now. I can find out how many versions back we support, but looking to support the majority of versions. iOS and also Windows, both tablet and Windows 8, Windows 10.
The last thing we want to do is put in a technology and bring students about I can't use it online.
Absolutely. So, in looking at mobile, we hear from students, almost 90% of them say, we prefer to access it on our mobile. Available on mobile, we want the app, and we won't touch our desktop. And so we are actually moving to be mobile first as a company. So in terms of the new, what we call the Ultra experience, the new user experience, it's available today on Baby Student. It works with 9.1, and it works with our SaaS version of Learn on all three platforms, Android, iOS, Windows. At the same time, we're continuing to have our web-based apps, and those are all going to be completely responsive. So if we don't have an app on a certain device, and I think covering those three platforms gives us pretty broad coverage, but bringing it up on a mobile device, it will scale, it will change the layout appropriately, so it'll be responsive. So we can show some of that responsive design.
The students who say want to do everything on their mobile devices, are those community college students you're talking about, or all students?
It's pretty much across the board, looking at even K-12, less so, more in high school, but in higher ed, we polled our user base. Pearson's done a study, McGraw's done a study. They're all in the mid to high 80%. We talked to higher ed students in using Learn, and 86% said if all the functionality were available on a mobile device, I would use it all on my mobile device and not use it on a laptop. We'll be doing that survey every year. I expect it next year to be in the 90s and close to the 100. So we still need a web app. It's important. But as we talk about how students experience what their experiences are, I think the mobile device is actually more important than the web experience. Built-in learning analytics, so all of our products have collected all the data. We haven't done much with them. We sell a data warehousing tool. We sell things to administration and IT to get insight. We're bringing that insight actually directly to the students and to the teachers. Not going to go into it today. We offer a wide range of strategic platform and consulting services, SaaS deployment across all of our products, and information on top of all of this to enable data-driven decisions. So we'll share these specific products. Also wanted to share, I'm calling 6 Pillars of Innovation. This is something that I did a blog post on, which you can Google a couple of days ago. But this is what, when I talk to my team and when I look at product plans, kind of how I measure what we're doing. First of all, focus on the learner. That should be the kind of decision point. Right? If you got a question about do you do A or do you do B, say what's right for the learner. Got to focus on the learner. We have to support lifelong learning across the entire lifelong journey, not just for an institution, not just for an individual student at an individual point in time. Drive design thinking. The user experiences have to be great. Students have a choice about what apps they use and where. They don't like what they use from an institution, they'll go to Khan Academy, they'll go watch a YouTube video. We have to have something that they love using. Focus on workflows, not products. Embracing the cloud, and making data actionable. So in terms of design centricity, I want to show a quick video. As we're bringing together all of our products in the new learning experience, the code name for the new user experience we're bringing on top of it is called New School. And I want to show a quick video about how we're thinking about design across our products and workflows. The BB Student app that's available and shipping today, and we're just Learn 9.1. Talk about learner centricity, about design thinking, about unified workflows. It's tying it all together into a delightful experience. So going into specific products. So the products many of you reviewed today, Learn 9.1. We've long had managed hosting and on-premise deployment. Last year we offered a SaaS deployment. We have over 100 customers in that SaaS model. We are going to do a few things here. Learn 9.1 is a core part of our new learning experience, so we're integrating it with the new Collaborate. It's available with BB Student today, embedding learning analytics, and really committing to ongoing development support. So while we have Learn SaaS and a new interface on top of it called Ultra, which we'll show, Learn 9.1 is a viable product to which we're very committed. So we do releases every 6 months. We support it for 2 years after that. We have a big release coming up in October, another one in April, with both bug fixes, workflow enhancements, and new functionality. In terms of what we've done over the past year, a lot of our customers have said, stop adding more features. make it reliable. Yes, focus on, exactly, focus on usability and performance and bug fixes. So that's what we've done. Fixed almost 1,000 bugs, really focusing on reliability. Also, there have been little tweaks, workflow enhancements, features that we've done a couple of years ago. Users said it works, but it needs to have this, this, and this. So focusing on those areas. In the October release, offering new functionality, one of which is grade exchange with grades journey. So being able to push grades from the LMS back into the SIS system using the LIS standard. Coming out with a whole new competency-based education module. So dashboards for professors and for students to track progress to competencies across courses. We recently shipped last year Learn SaaS. So Learn SaaS has everything that's in 9.1. It's on a SaaS deployment, so you get flexibility, no downtime, scalability, plus a preview of the Ultra course experience. So this is the whole new set of workflows based on all the business logic that's already in 9.1, but adding a whole new interface on top of them. We're intentionally not taking over every feature from the 9.1 experience, which inside Learn SaaS is called the original experience. We're taking over about 80% of the features are coming over to meet the functionality of about 95% of workflow. Right? There's 5 or 6 ways to do anything in Learn now, making one easy way. Power of SaaS, things you've heard about, scalability, back to school, exam time, etc. The system will automatically scale up, add cores as needed. More reliable. If something breaks, either hardware or something, the system will automatically restart with no downtime, move to other cores. Flexibility, innovation. So in Learn SaaS, we're pushing out new functionality roughly every 2 weeks. Right? First, we push it to a sandbox so administrators can try it out, but there's no downtime. You don't have to take the system down to add fixes, to add new functionality. The first version of Learn SaaS that we shipped in the SaaS platform was actually our free MOOC platform. Available to all of our customers. I don't know if any of you are using it, but it's free to use. Openeducation.blackboard.com to deliver MOOCs. And on top of the entire 9.1, the original experience, and the benefits of SaaS, we're adding what we're calling the Ultra experience, a whole new set of workflows with an entire new UI. So a modern UI, done a lot of testing on it, something that's intuitive. The whole point of this is never to have to look at documentation, have fewer clicks, to put up a course in shorter time, to figure things out in a shorter period of time. Something that has great usability, responsive, so if you shrink it on an iPhone or a tablet, it automatically rescales and does the right thing. Maybe we'll show that. Something that's student-centric, specifically looking at what students need to succeed, and something that allows us to deliver innovation. Additionally, in Learn SaaS, you can have the original course view, everything you've designed, your 4,000 classes, you can show in the original layout right within Learn SaaS. Yeah.
This doesn't look like the original layout.
So basically, this is the original layout. It's been customized here, but we actually put it in the window. Purple in the corner, so classes that are original layout, and we'll show that can come up right in the Learn SaaS environment.
The projector fades some of the picture too.
Yes, we can see it all. But we'll show a demo of this. And either at a professor level, at a course level, at a department level, you can turn on the Ultra course. So allowing the entirely new workflow. There are tools to bring over original courses to Ultra courses and diagnostics that show what comes over and what doesn't. There's built-in learning analytics so that both students and professors can get alerts, can get notifications. If a student's falling behind, let the student know they're falling behind the rest of the class. Let the student know they're actually doing a lot less activity in the class than the rest of the class. These sort of analytics built right into the tool, just the basic version of Learn, and then providing actions. Connect me with a professor, connect me with a student, but providing this level of insight that we can have.
Is this based on what you enter into the grade book or online assignments that they do, or what?
It looks at a bunch of things. So it looks across grades. It looks across different assessments, tests, etc. It looks at their activity, how much they're accessing course material compared to other students in the class. So we look across a couple of dozen sets of activity, and we can correlate it. We can say, okay, X% of students are actually accessing material less than other students, and their grade is lower. So we might come up with a alert to them saying, hey, we notice you're accessing the course less and you're doing worse. And they can say, show me. And you can go and show, here's the activity of other students, here's your activity. You might want to do this. Are you having trouble? Let me connect you to your advisor or professor. That's sort of insight. So I should mention that the new experience, so Learn SAS is available now with the original interface, the same interface as 9.1. The Ultra experience, which we're going to demo and I showed some pictures of, again, not everything has come over. We expect to bring about 80% of features, which will still be the most feature-laden LMS out there. But there's things we're potentially not bringing over. However, some things that you will probably want before going to production, tests, rubrics, certainly certain regions, language selection. These are in development, and they'll be coming into the main environment soon. So right now, the Learn Ultra experience is in tech preview. So anyone in Learn SAS who has the product can turn it on, do a technical preview, try it by class, they can pilot a class on it. We have a trial site that you can sign up for, try.blackboard.com. We're actually selectively letting people in. We have over 100 people using the try.blackboard.com. We're going to open that up wide open later this fall. So the technical preview, try it on your own. We're going to be leading cohort groups coming in the winter and spring that we'll be leading, bringing people together on our community site, leading you through new features, functionality, how to bring courses over. We'll be supporting pilots, and then certainly adoption. So in terms of timing, we expect people will play with it now, start preparing courses, probably start piloting coming this spring, and then full production for fall 2016. It is our guess in timing most schools. We have a couple of schools that are actually live on it now with simpler courses. To collaborate, we've long had the Collaborate tool. We're actually hosting a session on it now. We put an entirely new interface on top of it, entirely browser-based. Previously, you needed to have Java. That caused issues and work in some browsers. Chrome is not supporting Java anymore. Didn't have HD video. So there are a lot of great things about the original Collaborate. This is even better. We're using really what's emerged as a standard for real-time conferencing, WebRTC. That allows you to have conferencing right in the browser with no downloads. So we'll be showing that as well, but it's great. It's going to be the best product in the space. We'll show that HD video, great user experience, same look and feel as the new Ultra experience in Learn, and all the great things that are about Collaborate, but just better. We'll go into that. Has integration with Learn 9.1, we'll have integration with the Ultra experience soon. Fast for you here. In terms of the roadmap, right now, the Ultra experience and Collaborate is shipping. It's available. Again, we're intentionally not bringing everything over. People told us that the experience in both Collaborate and parts of the original Learn were more feature-laden than they wanted. They wanted something simpler. So we're going for an intentionally simpler experience. There are some basic things, such as integration with Learn Ultra, polling, breakout rooms that are in development that we'll be pushing out soon. Again, we're doing continuous development. This is a SaaS product. So every 3 weeks we're pushing out, 2 to 3 weeks we're pushing out new functionality. But again, this is available now with Collaborate. It's up to your administrator whether they turn on access to the Ultra experience for Collaborate. And then mobile, we're going from dozens of apps for each product to persona-based apps. BB Student is shipping now. It's on the 3rd version of it on iOS, on Windows, on Android. We'll be piloting BB Instructor in the fall and winter, shipping it early next year. And in K-12, we put BB Parent app. I mentioned before, over 85, almost 9% of students said, I want it all on my device. On the device, you can do a bunch of things that you can't do on just a web experience. You can leverage GPS, you can access photos, you can access the calendar, much more native experience. The BB Student, which we'll show, comes up with the first-time user experience. You can learn about it. It immediately shows the user a stream, what we call a stream, things they need to know across all their courses, across their calendar. What do I need to know for today? What's due tomorrow? What's coming up later today? The full course outline, timeline, assignments, grades. Collaborate Ultra will actually be integrated within a few weeks. We'll show a beta of that today. The exciting thing about this is available now. You don't have to have Learn SAS. You don't have to have the Ultra experience to Learn. This works on Learn 9.1. So if you're using Learn 9.1 today, as long as you have the latest building block, your students can get the Ultra experience immediately without changing your course layouts, without changing anything else on your server. Again, focusing on learner centricity, a single app for everything they do, a great user experience, a consistent workflow across our products, and something that really leverages mobile. For instructors, we have now a BB Grader app that's available now for iOS. When we move it to BB Instructor, it's actually going to move over to the same platforms we support for BB Student. We'll be adding course design, course content, instructor analytics, adding on to what we're doing in BB Grader. So some of the things we'll be adding, such as course content, design, attendance in the classroom. So again, building on what we've done for BB Grader, but something that's specific for instructors. Blackboard Mobile, what's available now. Maybe add notifications and calendar to available now. Things that are coming up are collaboration, integration with Collaborate. But BB Student is a full shipping app now that we're getting just great feedback on. So again, new learning experience, focus on the learner, new user experience and user interface, integrating our products into workflows, cloud environment, integrated data and analytics. We're building this for you guys, so we want to make sure that we have a way to involve you and involve students. We have a lot of different forums, groups. Talk to me after if you're not in those groups, you'd like to be a part of them. We have a community site that we just launched, community.blackboard.com. There's different groups, cohorts, communities for different products, topics, discussion groups for the new products we're showing today, so you can go up there and sign up and learn about this as well. With that, I'll hand off to David to actually show the products.
Excellent. So, we start like 85% of students with mobile app. And as a student, I come into my mobile app, and the first thing that I have is a stream. So I can see what is going on in my courses, what's new, what's different, what has happened, where I might be late. Here I'm overdue on my animal nutrition assignment, unsurprisingly. Not time to eat yet, dogs. So we've got things that are posted or are due today and recent activities. With all of these streams, throughout the new design work that's going on, it is always the effort to say, when we present you with something that needs to happen, an overdue assignment, something that needs to be done, you ought to be able to simply go and do it. And so being able to move at a single click directly into whatever the assignment, whatever the particular task is, I hit the course. So here I click on the portfolio and go directly into the place where I would submit that assignment. So now I'm working directly moving directly into the task or activity that I need to accomplish. As I move into courses, all of my courses are listed. This is all running off of a traditional 9.1 server right now. We move into a particular course, and we have all the course content listed. We have content that's been developed by my instructor and put into the course, including things like video and whatnot, that I can view and use here on the course. When I slide down, you'll notice that there's a bit of bounciness to things. And the concept here is to create a delightful environment that is somewhat playful and fun to encourage discovery. Because one of the lessons that's come out of the design work is that as you start to make things simple and clean, then complexity is inevitable. There always has to be those other features that are someplace nearby. And they need to be nearby, but how do you find them? It needs to be easily discoverable. And so we call attention to things like, did you notice that you've got this bounciness that calls attention to the breadcrumbs, so that I can move back out into my, my Spanish course. Then I might say, you know, this is all great. I can check my grades here in my course. I've submitted some assignments that need to be evaluated, haven't been graded yet. I could even go into one of those assignments and see what's going on. It's unlimited attempts, so I could submit again. I could go back to in my course, and I could take a quiz or an exam if my instructors offered that in my mobile environment. But I also may want to join into the class discussion that's taking place in a live environment. So with this, I can launch into a BB Collaborate environment. So here, we're connecting with the Collaborate session that is ongoing. You'll notice these swirls, the swirling icon and the thumb that came up. And sometimes it has the crossed fingers, like we're waiting, we're hoping it's going to show up, and then it comes in. That constant feedback from the computing device is a very important piece of the design work that's ongoing. Because with that, that design work, we want to establish an environment where the student can know with confidence that the system is actually responding to them. So if I submit my paper, we want to make an extra effort from a design and coding perspective to make sure the student is getting feedback about that. Because again, one of the most significant pieces of learnings out of the research that John Kolko, our VP of Design, and his team have developed is one of the most pressing issues in education from the student's perspective is anxiety. So if we can tamp down some of the anxiety and make things a little bit more relaxed, they're more likely to get engaged with the learning. Here we're in a session in the mobile device. It is the same session here. I'm in as FB on my mobile device. Notice the responsive design. I shrink up the size of my Collaborate session in my browser, and it adjusts to make sure that I continue to have that capability. Here I might want to share a file, so I'll grab this file and just drag it into the session. The concept of being able to click and drag to, again, have the technology blend into the background and become more fluid is a goal in a lot of this. When we're thinking about workflows, I'm now moving across. I know that I'm using Blackboard Student, I'm using Google Chrome, I'm using Blackboard Collaborate, I'm using PowerPoint, but I don't need to know any of that. What I need to know is I'm trying to share a file, and I'm trying to share it with people live, and I just need to do that. And I want to use whatever tools I have available to do that. And so we can then move through and share across. And over here, I might want to call attention to the question of saturation. And over here on the browser, I might then shift and say, no, not that. It's about color. So we're interacting back and forth in a very fluid way. You'll also find the video is very fluid. So here we're actually moving across the data network and back and forth with the server And we have a very high-speed video, high-definition video as well. The sound has gotten so good that I actually had stopped having phone conversations with my staff.
I'm not seeing what is the big producer of anxiety with my students. I don't know how you solve that. The big producer of anxiety with my students is the following. I'm taking the test. I was almost done, and then it froze on me. What do I do? So it's that bug, which is the greatest single source of frustration of my students. How can we solve that? How can the student now take a test on a mobile device without it freezing in the middle of the test anymore?
Two answers. One is it shouldn't freeze, right? So in terms of, you're talking about inside learn, not necessarily inside collaborate. Right?
I don't know our Blackboard is.
Yeah.
My Blackboard has testing.
Right.
They are taking exams or quizzes every week. And especially in the beginning, it's like 20, 30% students problems on the first exam. Sometimes they're doing something wrong. But whenever I see a problem between human-computer interaction,
Right.
even if it's the student's fault,
Yeah.
why don't they design computer software into it so we don't have so many problems?
Yeah.
What have you done researching to make that source?
Couple of things. One is we certainly heard, crashes along the way, got to restart the browser, the work I did isn't there. As we type along, it auto saves. So that will be a huge difference. In terms of crashing, I'd love to speak with you further and find that out, because it shouldn't be. But our whole front end is actually based on a new platform called Angular, very responsive, modern with the browsers. And so we're certainly testing for very high quality. So crashing shouldn't happen. There's no excuse for that, right? That's our problem.
Here's what I think happens. I'm certain about this. But I think a student, especially on a mobile device, is temporarily losing connection, losing connectivity. And the way that the test is apparently constructed, moving frame to frame, item to item, you lose connection, boom, you cannot resume the test. I think that may be wrong. It is the major source of frustration my students.
So both in the mobile app, BB Student Compare to Learn, we actually buffer the information. So if you go in and out, it actually won't crash. We're specifically designing for that on BB Student. On Learn, the way we're designing it, it's actually a thicker client that comes down in terms of the interface. So you don't lose the application if you lose connectivity, and it'll auto-save along the way. So we get into more detail, but I think the issues you're talking about, even outside of crashing, shouldn't happen, and we should fix. But due to the architecture of how we're designing these things and the auto-saving, should be a lot less anxiety there.
Well, doesn't it have the default that if you go away from that screen, and you look at a proper note, you're not supposed to come back when you're done and watch back? So that's, I pretty much tell my students, don't look away, do not navigate away from the screen, because it will think. And I think that's my biggest problem for students is, no, I did not navigate away. So I think that's part of it, but there's not an option to turn that off unless you're someone that
Gotcha.
So on the mobile app, I can see that as being a problem because all of a sudden it doesn't quite work. So you students, I have to go back and reopen the test for a certain period of time.
And you can post completion on your thing?
Yeah, because
Completion will cause that to happen. It doesn't allow them to go back in. If you don't check post completion, then lose connectivity. They can't
you can still find it though.
It's just not again.
That is default.
No. Not only is forced completion not default, but because we see it as being, and we increasingly see it as the root of much evil, in the latest iterations of the interface, it's actually collapsed up. You have to go looking for it to turn it on.
Well, and we're trying to keep the students, you have 4 students who are in the test at the same time, as one's online, and so the other 3 get great grades, and they take turns on who's going to. So, I try to use the security features to discourage it. But I know that happens.
What sort of exam items? Multiple choice or fill in the blank? Or?
I mean, it's not written. And
Well, I was going to
essay is different, I understand that, but when you do multiple choice or sort of like, I teach chemistry, so I don't care what multiple choice to write. That's a laboratory. My stuff is more.
Yeah, well, the nice thing with multiple choice is you can actually set the, when you build the items, you can set randomization in the responses so that A is not always the right answer.
Yeah, but I
And then you randomize, you know, question 1 is
I
not
do
always
that
right.
also, but I've got to tell you, when you get 4 people together and one sacrifices each time.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a perennial problem. The question of test security is one that has a long road, right? And we have partners that will carry it much further should that be something that the institution wants to do. You know, at an extreme end, you can actually do full remote proctoring, where, you know, the student is taking a test in an environment where someone's monitoring them while they do it. That's the, you know, extreme edge. Then and then there's all the way up to the quiz, just I don't even care if you cheat, go ahead. And so usually we're somewhere in the middle, and it's a question of how far can we go. A lot of institutions use Respondus, and they have a browser wrapper that shuts off the use of the desktop, so they actually install a client on the local machine.
Okay.
And they're a partner with Blackboard, so you can build your test in Blackboard, deploy it through Respondus, so the student can only take the test on a machine that has the local app that locks down the desktop. It's somewhat like having, what it does is it gets you into it, you know, so my point being there are different layers,
Yeah.
and what you probably want to do is to sit down with some of the IDs at the college and start to peel back your particular scenario.
Right. And I have different levels of classes where some classes will no floor test, and I have another one where it's not, so
It depends, absolutely. Absolutely. There are a lot of tools in Blackboard. There are some places we know. We don't go much further than that, right? Usually at this point someone says, you should buy Respondus. And I said, are you really encouraging us to buy people? That doesn't happen very often. But so there are additional options, right? There are places we don't go because we've made design decisions that say we're not going to install local software, but Respondus does, and so they support that. It's a totally different kind of support. And then there are things we can't do in the browser. So we can't tell the student they can't launch other browsers or other windows or do things from the browser. You know, Respondus does it by going outside the browser and locking down the whole workstation. And even there, I've heard there are some ways to get around them too. One of the best ways to get around them.
Yeah, I also will check that they allow that they can get away with it. That's something
Well,
they have to.
when I was
Someone's going to cheat, they're going to cheat.
when I was in the education.
I want to discourage them.
When I was taking my education courses, one of my professors told a story about when he first started teaching K-12, and he went to a parochial school, and he was just started, like 23 years old, and this nun, great big formidable full habit nun, was the principal, was leading him around, touring him around the school, and kept calling him Mr. Crane. He said, it was kind of unnerving because he was 23. Didn't expect anyone to call him Mr. Crane. Mr. Crane, come along! And she would go through doors, and she had this big knot of keys, and she'd unlock the door, and they'd go through the door. Well, this was a school where all the boys were on this side, and all the girls were on this side. And she would unlock the door, and go through and lock the door, unlock the door, go through and lock the door. And after a while, he said, Sister, what's with all of the doors and the locking and the unlocking? And she said, Mr. Crane, we cannot prevent sin, but we can make it difficult. So we continue to try to make that difficult in the testing environment, but it can be a little tricky. And forced completion, I'd encourage you to maybe ponder that one and get rid of it if you can. There are good reasons for it to still be there, but most instructors find that if they think about it, no, they don't want forced completion. They want to approach it from a different angle.
And on the other front, the auto saving and being tolerant to temporary loss of connectivity is something that's designed in on both of these.
Mm-hmm. And we continue to look at better ways to try and, as the technology shifts and changes, as the browser technology changes, and we come up with new ways of doing it. So hopefully it will continue to get better. The Ultra work gives us an opportunity to dig deeper than we were allowed to do within the constraints of the original experience. So the current experience you have now, there's only so much we can do within the kind of starting point that it offers us from a design perspective and a technology perspective. Ultra says do something new and modern because we're redesigning the whole thing. So hopefully we'll see some interesting new ways of building robustness into that testing environment. Unfortunately, right now, it's not the tech preview yet. Testing comes out maybe later this month. And maybe October. But here we are in, but this is our transition to learn, right? So we looked at BB Student for that mobile experience. That's something that's shipping today. Your students can use it today, unless there's a weirdness with your particular Learn installation. But if it doesn't work, you let us know. We'll help you out. Perfect. Fantastic. So that's shipping today. In fact, there's a new version coming out really soon that'll have the Collaborate piece. And it works against the 9.1 server. As well, Collaborate Ultra is shipping today. And my understanding is that CCC Confer is busy testing it to decide when they're going to roll it out as an option for you all in the community college system. In the Learn environment, we are looking at our Ultra experience, which is an experience that's layered on top of that engine of Learn that we've been nurturing for all these years. So the deep core business logic remains the deep core business logic. This has a couple really material benefits for you, one of which is something Mark talked about earlier, which is that you can have a course that you're not ready to move into the new Ultra, either because Ultra is not ready for you, or you're just not ready to do whatever it is you'd have to do to kind of tweak it or make it work in the new thing. So you can continue to run a classic or original course experience inside a server that's gone completely Ultra on you. When we come into the Ultra experience and Learn, we start with a stream today. And in the stream, we are told what's going on across our courses. What's new, what's due, what's coming. Here we can see as an instructor, I'm logged in as Instructor Harris, and Cameron can see that he's got 11 students falling behind in one of his Western Civ sections. So if he just clicks on that, we move directly into the data analysis that's been processed overnight. So he logs in the morning, and here it is. I've got students all across the scatter plot. This is more of a chart. The lines are fading out on the projector. But here we can see, we can zero in on a particular person. This is Tina Goodman. We can go and view details just for this one student. So here's her activity levels, pretty erratic. And we can see how that matches against, how her grade matches against the average grades for the students in the course. And with any of these charts, we can flip to a more number-oriented view, and we can download the numbers in a CSV file, or we could take the chart itself as an image or a PDF. So we've got all of that data handy. I can send an email or put a calendar item on Tina's personal calendar to say to indicate that I want to speak with her, we need to talk, what's going on. I might also say, look, here's 11 students out of my class who are identified as a problem. I can send all of them a message all at once. So not only giving you data so that you have some window of understanding into what's actually going on in your class, but also giving you the opportunity to take action on that and to do something about it, hopefully in a way that is going to help your student.
When you're doing that email, we usually have the students put in not only the automatically generated Crafton email that they get, but also their personal email, because many of them just don't check their Crafton email. So do you have to choose which one? Does it go to the first one, or what?
Actually, what we're talking about here would be a message that is akin to the course messages in the current system.
So it will show up on their stream.
So it's inside. It show up on the stream. It's inside the system. Where they get notified about it is somewhat up to them. Now there could be some administrative rules that say everyone will receive an email when the following things happen. But you can do email, text messaging, You can get notified on your mobile device, and you can get notifications via text or voice. So for a student who wants to have the computer actually try to talk to them, maybe if they're visually impaired or something. So those are the different ways you can be notified now.
So the student chooses how they will receive my message.
Within the parameters of things that from an institutional, from a Crafton perspective, are the mandated defaults. So for example, you might say, all announcements will also come to you in an email. So if your instructor puts an announcement out, you will receive an email. You can't turn that switch off. So I can do that with email. I can do it with notifications on your mobile device through the mobile app. I cannot do that with text messaging, but that's a federal SEC regulation type thing.
So the envelope isn't necessarily an email envelope per se.
It's not technically an email in a technical sense, right? It may generate an email that says, you have a message. I don't know.
And then where do you go to get the message?
Actually say what the message says. In the
I don't know.
notification.
I'd
have to double check that one. But what exactly you get in the notification. Again, we're rethinking the workflows on top of the engine that's already there. So we didn't have to rebuild an SMS infrastructure. We already have that. We have several different places that we see data being manifest in the system. Here we've got a course activity related to grades. I can zoom in on a particular area and maybe see what's going on with Abigail. And here we can see that Abigail's, her activity. She was really busy the week of the 9th, and then something's going on with her, right? Maybe need to send her a note and find out what's up with her. At all points in the system, we're working with layers. And so I can always zoom back. I don't have to, I can step back one layer. I could jump all the way back to the main level. We try to limit in the design the number of layers because we don't want people getting lost. So it's a question of always knowing kind of where you are and how all of this fits together. As I move into my courses, we talked a little bit about the conversion of courses and moving into a particular course. What happens as the future moves forward. And so Mark's team is spending a lot of time thinking about this question of how do we move into the future. We can all agree that we'd like to have a cleaner interface, better workflows, a better way to work with these digital systems. But you are where you're standing. And so the idea of just throwing in and throwing a big switch is something that it doesn't necessarily function all that well. So how do we build into the system the ability to manage that change, to give you the possibility of walking through it in a methodical way? Here we've got a course. Maybe Cameron taught his Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire last term. He's had that course converted over into the Ultra environment. He's looking at it, and having come into it, down at the bottom, it tells him 10 items did not carry forward. Oh, I wonder what those are, right? And I can then get some immediate help on what's going to go on, what do I need to know before switching over, and then what's actually changed. So here I can see some of them are not particularly earth-shattering, but it's good to know. So when the conversion happens, this is a pretty clean shell, I can see that the course settings didn't come across. So guest access is not supported at this time. Not a huge deal. You're like, okay, I can live without that. Whereas if it said something, I might go into the grade book and see that a bunch of those calculated columns in today's tech preview are not coming across. They're going to eventually. They don't do it right now. Maybe Ultra's not ready for me. Not a question of whether I'm ready for Ultra. I'm like, wow, if you move my course over, I don't have the things I need coming across yet, so I'll hold off. And so if I want to hold off, then I just come back to my course and say, go back to the original course. And it rolls it back. And when I log in again, it'll be an original view course. Once I'm in the course, I can begin to work with the environment. So here, for example, I might want to add some files to the course. So I click and drag to add these files into the course. Let me just get rid of these so that we're less distracted. That's for the morning session. click and drag, and the courses upload. Files upload.
How many files are you uploading on drag and drop?
Well, let's actually load it up and we'll find out. 4.
Files of different kinds of media, like an MP3, video.
These all happen to be Word documents. I could also take a PowerPoint presentation. I don't think I have an MP4 handy. But yes, we can put anything up there. This is, again, the same underlying engine that is in 9.1 today, and 9.1 is agnostic to whatever file you want to upload. Now, some things are better elsewhere. So if you had a great big huge video, you would want to put it up.
Version 9.1 Blackboard,
What you're using today.
I think so, yeah.
Is that when I want to change one word, I have to go in there, click to delete your old file, search your computer to add a new file. I got to do all that. And if I have 5 different sections, I'm doing that 5 different times. Ideally, is take the new one, same name as the old one, drop it, next third place.
Will they have core yet?
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm double checking right now.
We're double checking to make sure that so after it gets turned on, there's a capability that's in the system called BB Drive, and this takes it is a little program that you run on your local machine that allows all your files on the Learn server to appear as a drive letter on your Windows machine or a network mounted share on your Mac, depending on your platform choice. And then you could just find that file, open it up, edit it in Word, and be done. You could, if BB Drive is running in the background, you could come to the web interface on your where your file is located inside your file store, click on it, it would open in Word, you edit it, it saves it back to the server, done. So that's the tool that is shipping today, right now, that we need to work to make sure you get up to speed and that all the switches are on that need to be on for you to be able to. It's called BB Drive. Right, and Sue can help make sure that all the right instructions and everything that you need in order to use it. It's once you get it set up, it's really easy, and then you don't even think about it. It's just running in the background. And when you see that syllabus Word document in your course, you'll click on it. It'll open in Word. You'll edit it. You'll save, and it goes, and you're finished.
Well, that also, that kind of reminds me of course copy, all those hidden files in the background transferred over. So, like, for example, I just one course, and I use that to build my new one. I thought I deleted all these old files, but these keep being transferred over. So you have to go in files and get rid of all those. I have like 8 pages. Until I realized it was copying those, even though they're not on my live stream. They're hidden in the background. So it's not fix that problem. Because right now I've got Blackboard for everything, and I've got so many that I can't remember if I can even number them. And then I ended up, of course, getting rid of the ones I didn't need because it's hard to tell the difference. They all look the same.
What BB Drive would do in that scenario, I mean, now there's a level where I would want to have someone poke at your courses with you to make sure there's nothing going wrong, that we don't have some sort of a bug or something that's cropping up. But because it sounds a little weird. But the idea that it's copying files that you've already gotten rid of or whatever. But what BB Drive would make easy is that you would be able to just go to that drive letter on Windows or that network share and just start drilling down into your course files and say, oh, well, that's delete. One click, delete, gone.
So this whole process assumes that you have a dedicated computer for this sort of thing. I'm an adjunct. I keep everything on a flash drive. I don't have an office. I don't have a computer.
Well, 2 things. you could, yes, it would assume that you've got wherever you're wanting to do the BB drive thing. If you walked up to a machine that didn't have BB drive, you could just keep the install file for BB drive on your flash drive and install it on that machine if you're assuming you can install software on the machine. So there's probably ways to work.
You can also keep it on BB drive in the cloud without syncing. You could just use it in
Upload and edit things in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to drag and drop these files is, being able to get files is into your course is what a lot of the conversations that we've had over the years is a huge part of what you're doing. And so we've, in addition to the kind of idea that you just drag it onto the browser and drop it, and then there's BB Drive, the BB Drive piece, and then there's cloud. So do you keep your stuff in Dropbox or Box or OneDrive for Education or Google Apps or Google Apps for Education? So we are working on making sure that all of those are integrated into the UX so that you can just click here and open up your OneDrive and find the file you want, and it will move across into the environment, into the course. OneDrive's there, the tech preview today. The rest of them will be showing up in the near term. Copy and import. What if the file already exists in another course? I just want to move it across. So I can click on copy and import, and I'll see a list of my courses populate here in a second, and then I can move the content across from the different courses. The last piece is the create piece, where I want to create folders or links. I want to add an assignment or a discussion board in my course. And again, making that really fluid and easy, you just do it right there. This list obviously is somewhat short. Tests and quizzes aren't here because this, again, is the tech preview. They're coming this month, I think. And then other things will be added to this as we go, as time goes by. We are, in many cases, one of the interesting things about this is this massive investment of time, energy, and resources that we're undertaking is that we're reconsidering all these workflows. So as Mark said, we're looking not just at, here's the screen for a discussion board, can I make it prettier? It's a very different approach. It's an approach that says, use case, I need a discussion board. Great. So in a vacuum, what would that look like? How would I make that smooth and easy, fluid for you and the student? Everything moves together. Here in the course, we can, another example is I have a use case that says I need to make my course available to my students. Right? They give me a course shell, I sit and muck about in it, and then it's time for classes to start. And I'm trying to remember where Blackboard hit that button.
Under your property, we could then do something else.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now, how about if it were right here?
How much time will you have this on?
Exactly. So right here, the course is open. Not only did we give you that so that it's easy to get to, but we also took the opportunity to develop another category, because one of the other use cases was I want the term is over, I want to lock the course, but I want students to still be able to go in and look at their stuff. So now I've got a read-only option in an ultra course environment that allows me to complete the course, which then means the students can't change anything. It locks it as read-only, or make it private where they can't even get into it.
They would still be able to download stuff?
But yeah, they could still download stuff.
Can't submit anything.
Right.
Right. So I've got all my discussion boards and conversation threads grouped here. I have my messages. So messages, again, there's a use case that says I need to tell all the students something. Today you'd have an announcement tool. And then I need to tell 3 students something. Well, that's not the announcement tool. That's the messages, course messages tool. Or maybe it's email. So it gets, it's too many moving parts for something that's fundamentally the same thing. So here in Ultra, we simplify those workflows. We say, you want to send out an announcement? well, this is rise and fall of the Roman Empire. I'm going to send a message to everyone. And so now I send a message, and it is an announcement. An announcement is just a message, but it's a message that you can't reply to because I really don't want to start a conversation.
You just attach a file?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're
Rise and fall of the Roman Empire, and then that's the recipient.
Okay.
Right. And keeping things simple too, as we're moving forward at these initial stages, because as we move forward, we get it so that we've answered the base use case, and we say, well, there's this other thing I want to do, like maybe attach a file or make that a much more rich message with formatting and whatnot. We say, great, that's the next stage of the use case, and so that will come later. So as you're looking at Tech Preview, either by going to try.blackboard.com and signing up to get access to it, or later on down the road, if you see something that's missing, always feel free to tell us. We always want to hear why you care and that you care. But there's this long list of stuff that's going to be gradually coming in. And because we've done all of this hard lifting over the last couple of years in order to take that core infrastructure of Learn and put it into that SaaS environment, the benefit for you, besides having the joy of getting another technical term SaaS to throw around, is that you have the no downtime updates. So as we are moving out these changes and updates, the servers don't have to go down for 3 days, which makes it much easier for the institution to absorb those changes. Because as Sue can tell you, being the person who used to do this for National Park College, the finding 2 days to take the servers down and install a new service pack and then bring it back up is almost impossible. So it could be like you could be a year behind because you just don't want to burn a couple of days doing that. No more. Now the updates will come when they might come between right after finals, but it'll just happen overnight. You log in next morning and go, oh look, something new and improved. And you might say, well, that's great, but then how do I learn about things that are new? Well, what if I click the little question mark on any page anywhere in the system, it takes me directly to the page where we're going to learn about that in health. So context-sensitive health is part of what I see as being when you put the learner at the center of all your thinking, the instructor becomes one of the learners, right? Because if we give you something new, we need to help you learn how to use it. And it needs to be really fluid and easy. We either help you learn how to use it by making it so easy that you don't need anybody to tell you. You just click the button. That's our preference. But if it had a little nuance to it, it's really quick and easy to find out what's going on. So as we move back out, we can see that we've got organizations. We've got the calendar across all our courses. We can see appointments that we have. Here we've got several appointments on the 10th. And we can also see our due dates stacked up across courses. Across courses. Oh, no. And take action on those here. Messages across our courses. And our grades. So when I move into the grades for my courses, I can very quickly get to the data analytics piece where I want to see the course activity and how that relates to grades and other questions that are going to be answered. And then I might also move into the grade book for this particular course. Two major views. I can see the stack of assignments and go into a particular assignment and see who's submitted their assignments and what's going on with the grades. Have I graded it yet? Have I posted it to the student? Then if I want to move into a view that's more traditional, where I see, much like you do in Learn Today, with a list of students and the assignments coming across in vertical rows. I can also
Can you change the columns? Like move week forward to the beginning?
Not in the current Tech Preview, but I'm sure you'll be able to at some point. That would be what I would consider an important piece.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah, I've been considering that an important piece for years now.
Yeah, no,
You can do it in the current system.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Now, see, this is, again, part of the difficulty with the current system is you can't just click and drag it because the whole thing's so complex. But if you go to column organization under manage.
I tried that. It wouldn't change. Well, there's no time to
Okay,
talk
well, then,
about my personal
then
problems.
something's wrong. So we need to dig into that with you because that should stick. Here I can add a calculation or I can add an item. If I go into a particular column, like the overall grade column, I can edit that, and building calculations is going to be formula oriented. So now what we're working on and hoping to see soon are going to be templates where you can say, give me weighted grade formula, and it just lays it out for you, and then you can tweak it and be done. But if you are wanting something a little bit more exotic, you'll be able to just click and drag your various operators and functions and variables in to get the formula the way you want it. So hopefully it looks just like what's written in your syllabus. Yes, sir?
I got a real simple question.
Excellent.
I would love to see an option where I can drag a line Excel file right in this already. And it looks just like my Excel file. Could you do that?
Great idea. We certainly could. I will see if he's thought about it, but certainly bring it to them. That's a great idea.
Because one of the big annoyances I have on the structuring is tweaking the grade book to do what I wanted to do.
Same here.
And stopping the grade book from doing what I don't want it to do and giving the students false impressions.
I don't even use the grade book because of that.
Same here.
On Excel, I've done that for papers. I don't even use the grade book.
I'm using a total outside grade book because Blackboard is so unusable.
And it got that way by sticking on yet another function so that it could do this, and then do that, and then do the other thing.
One of my current problems with grade book is if I go on it with my Mac, I use Chrome for that, but I can't scroll. But if I go on a PC, I can, so I actually have to have my work from home. I have two computers, one really great at to go to the PC, and when I'm going to do other things, I can use my Mac normally. And so it's very frustrating because I use the same browser for both. Typically, I was on a different browser to use between browsers.
Apple did this to us. So yes, what you need to do is on your Mac is go into your mouse or your trackpad, and whichever you're using, and I'm sorry, not the mouse or trackpad. General. Yes. Show scroll bars always.
Okay.
So system settings, general, show scroll bars always. The window inside the Grade Center, when Apple got the way that they do that, causes this problem.
Yeah, so then if I have multiple columns,
They have this.
like tell us, so it's
Right.
so you don't get it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do that, as soon as you said that, I was like, wait, I remember this. This happened when they came out with this function in Apple that makes the scroll bars disappear so that you aren't troubled by it.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize, that'll fix it.
Yeah. Obviously,
But I
I
have
do
a
too.
PC too, so I'm finding.
I have a PC. Where's my PC? Okay.
A good thing to note about the grade book is that you can add additional columns for, say, a blended or a 11-year class, where if you were doing an in-class assignment, then you wanted to have a column to grade in so that it was calculating overall grade. You can't add manual columns to your grade. Not all of them have this way.
One more thing, because I'm really doing the work in Excel. What would be ideal is, if I could cut and paste or upload, download both ways. If I can't figure it out so I can do it both ways, at least if I have the same scores as I'm up here on your grade book. It would be so nice if I could just highlight a copy, go into Excel, and that would be so.
Here you can do that. What you want to do is inside your grade center, give it a moment. So here, if I go into the grade center,
It's not copy and paste the call.
have a corrected course. Yes, if you just walk into a particular course, see if this one will work for me.
When I try to copy and paste it, like going on the whole file,
Yeah.
not compatible with pasting. So,
Yeah, it shouldn't copy as text, it should copy as CSV and do the right things and send it to the team. I think that kind of integration would be great.
But yes, right now in your grade center, for now, you can download your grade center into a spreadsheet.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
Yeah, but you could if you wanted to, you could go both ways. You could like paste it from Excel and then upload it back in.
My grades on Excel don't look like the original Blackboard download. I don't hear anything from the original.
But you can,
I have Dropbox for and it's hard to.
yeah,
Still pretty manual. I thought pretty much.
you can certainly.
So basically, I use this to grade discussion boards, and that's pretty much all this is used for. And many applicants.
Or the Blackboard-based quizzes.
Yeah, I just have one quiz on the Blackboard. So other than that, everything else.
Here you can download the full grade center.
And again, I do that, but the skill and everything is kind of tough. And we already have our established Excel that will do all that for us. It would be great to do that.
Yeah.
Because then I would have to do that and that.
Right. No, ideally we want to get to the point where it's you're already doing the things that you want it to do. And
Because I even have my Excel even right with the times I have it associated with it. I say, look here, drop this one, look here, and all that.
Yeah, it's such a pain to organize it properly when you have weighted grades on Blackboard.
So that's a good suggestion.
I'm talking with the product managers in charge of the grade book. Like that, we've heard this a lot. It's something we've been thinking about and realizing that that we never want to fully duplicate Excel inside the grade book, and everyone sorts it in those different ways. So that's something that's on the list.
excellent. So this has been a whirlwind tour of the Learn Ultra experience, which is being layered on top of a complete reconsideration of workflows, built on top of that engine that we've been nurturing for so many years, and taking advantage of some of the baseline, the core capabilities it has, notification framework, file management, database management, et cetera, all of that kind of deep science, and then rethinking how how that design comes together. I would offer you a quick video about how we have been thinking about the question of how we've been approaching the question of understanding what the design needs to look like. And featured in this video is our Vice President of Design, John Colcott.
Blackboard committed to design for a long time. Blackboard was a better software.
Too many microphones on.
Features very successfully, very big piece of software, and critically So we spend time with them in their natural sort of environment. We go to students' dorm rooms. We watch them do their homework, watch them try to register for classes, go through the things that students do. And on the faculty side, we watch them plan their courses, talk through the syllabi, do some grading, and through that research, we identify like problems, very sort of utilitarian problems, but more importantly, we identify the emotional context in which teaching and learning happens. We find through the research we conduct with students is they're not looking actually to get jobs done. They're looking to have emotional anxiety eased, which is a really different way of thinking about school. I think most of us go like, oh, school's for learning, and therefore schools should support learning. If you take the approach that school right now is about anxiety, it probably shouldn't be, then the tools we produce are to minimize anxiety. And that gives us something called an emotional value story. So rather than saying we're gonna create software that does these things, we can start with the idea that we're gonna create software that helps you feel a certain way, and what we're looking for is to support the change, right? To say to students, part of figuring out who you are at an age of 18, 19, 20 is trying stuff. Try it on, and you know what? It wasn't right. Try it on again. And that really does run sort of counter to pick a major student before you really get out of here. So that's analyzing that is sort of where I come to this place of something's got to change systemically to allow for that acceleration. My view of what Blackboard used to do as the 10,000-pound gorilla in the education space has changed that because we have 30 million something college students that use our products. So I don't get excited about the utility of our products. I get excited about their ability to actually change all of these emotional issues that are really systemic in higher education.
So, as we're moving forward, I want to encourage you not only to pay attention, try things out, but to visit the community.blackboard.com and get involved. So when you have these ideas about, geez, I wish it would work this way, right? Tell us. Because Mark's team is listening. We're all listening. We've gotten really good at listening, which is something we weren't good at 6 years ago, right? I've been here 5 years, and it's gotten better every year as far as the listening turning into action, listening in a substantive way, listening in a careful way that says, no, okay, I hear what you just said, but what I think you were actually saying was that you really wanted to do this, which would be even more cool, right? So we're going to take on the really hard stuff. And this work that you've seen today has been in motion for several years. It's finally coming out into the open, and it is enormous lifting. It's not about, I just want to put a lipstick on this pig that I own. It is, I want to transform the way that we understand education, the way that we understand the work that you're doing and our role in helping you do that, and aligning all of our work and all of our thinking with the learner at the center, which sometimes the learner is all of us, and certainly we are constantly learning at Blackboard, the learner at the center that then aligns with faculty, administration, IT, parents, and everyone else, right? Governmental agencies, accreditation bodies. All of these things gradually funnel down to what are we trying to do here? Why are we in this? And so I hope that has been enlightening. Got more questions? We can hang out for another 15 minutes or so before we rush off to an airport.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Please.
Absolutely.
All right, so one of the things, it's a Blackboard training, and they have a lot of features that we don't have. And so I've heard you guys talk about that's turned on, that's not turned on. So the thing that we just got recently, very recently, we did the background on the chemistry background, we just got done. And I know that there are a lot of time about that. The other thing that we don't have that they have, which I thought was pretty cool, is advertising research. picture avatar, so the students who post or your post, you have that picture next to it. You don't have that. Is that something we have to pay extra for, or something that's not turned on? And how do we connect to somebody that this is something that's actually nice? Because students are responding to each other. They can see, oh, this is the person that has the beaker, and I know beaker person. You know, the picture. So that's one of the things. I guess the whole point is there's a lot of really nice features I've learned about Blackboard that we don't have on this campus. And that's a little frustrating because I don't know why we don't have that. Like, when I hear that's turned off, who turns that on or off?
Yeah, I'm not sure who turns it on or off at Crafton, but it is a conversation that you need to probably get involved with at Crafton and push for what you need. My guess is, at least my conversations with people at various universities and colleges across the country, is usually it's off for some reason that may or may not be overwhelmed by your articulation of the need. Right? They may have said, I can't imagine anybody really wants this, and it would be complex in X way, right? And then you come in and say, but I do need it for Y, Z, and W reason, and they say, well, X is gone. Fine, we'll turn it on.
Yeah, so that's what makes this frustrating. You see all this beautiful stuff we can do, and if we're going to have all that turned off, since I already, like, I know about the avatar. A lot of people probably don't know it because we never had it. And it's very frustrating. It's like, I see all this beautiful stuff, and if we're going to cut it down to everything turned off, and it's very basic system, and all of those. You know, that's exactly what I wanted.
So this is, and it gets frustrating for us as well. So the institutions, they go, I want this feature and this feature and this feature, and we'll do competition. They have all that. We have that too. But we're 2 versions behind.
That was the Canvas training thing when they were telling us about Canvas, and they were telling us features, and I'm going, but I know Blackboard can do some of those things.
Yep.
Or maybe we don't know that Blackboard can do this. We just don't. And it would be nice to have the training for that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I took the one, so I know more about it, but I'm not many people get that opportunity.
I think we need to figure out how to get with here on campus with whoever runs Blackboard and figure out how to get everything turned on.
If it's the bells and whistles that's going to sell the program, we have to know that they're there.
Of course,
If you're
absolutely.
going to get the bells and whistles people, you're going to get the practical learners for people.
Yep.
Okay, so,
Well, and let me just add that if what would help would be to have a seminar and get people together, get you and some other interested parties together with the administration of the system here, Sue can come out and broker that as an expert in the platform to help make sure, you say, I wish it did X, and she can say, yes, it will do X. Here's how that would work, and they can say, oh, we can turn that on, or we can't for a really good reason. What is the reason? I don't know.
Also, part of the problem, part of the change now is, one, since it's on-premise or managed hosted and everyone's on different environments, we can't control that. So as we're moving to the future, we're really urging all our institutions to eventually end up on stack. So everyone's on the same version, everyone gets the same fixes, we're all on the same page. Also, we originally sold content, community, mobile, a bunch of things that's separate from the core part of Learn, and all those things you can turn on and off. Now, we just sell them all bundled together. And in Learn SaaS, you can't buy them separate. There's nothing there to turn off. It's all designed into a central experience. So going forward, once we turn the latest platform, problem's taken care of. But in terms of getting everything turned on now is something we should figure out how to solve in the short term.
Does that mean you're going to be charging us more because we get more?
No, we're bundling all in. We were in the business of nickel and diamond before, and we're not anymore.
Well, and some of that was because of the structure of the company, right? It evolved. It started out as just Learn, and then when it was just Learn, there were like different levels. And also, 15 years ago, you would have picked up Learn course delivery, community, and content, and many of our institutions said, I don't need a whole lot of this. So don't be charging me for the development cost of all of that, right? And so the entire marketplace, the entire higher education space has matured quite a lot over the last 15 years, and everybody needs all these tools. So there's no question about, as you said, nickel and diamond, you're saying, oh, well, okay, you can not pay for that. Everybody needs it.
So the first question is kind of I don't know if you want I've had two really big problems come up with Blackboard this month. It's pretty frustrating. I had embedded YouTube videos with mashup, using the mashup tool, and they all worked fine, and then all of a sudden all my friends were saying, hey, it's not working, I did green screen, it's still blue screen, and I check all my things before I make the course live. They were all working, and then I had to go through and redo every single, I have the videos posted in uploaded places, and I had to go back and I just put the link, I can't use the mashup, all of a sudden, that's not there, so that's the reliability of the feed is working that we're used to. And then also I did a course copy just 2 days ago, and on the left-hand side where you have all those beautiful things for course week by week and all this, I have a nice and beautiful course copy. It didn't go over, but when I just looked on my mobile app, it's on my mobile app. It's not on my computer in my office, so I can't go through and change the dates on my side of the stack. And they're not there, so I know they're there, but they didn't show up, so I need someone to show me how to get those out, because in the past they've always shown up, and they're not, so I'm very frustrated with that. I just want to throw it all out, but it's a 100% online class, so I can't. I don't want to have to spend the time to go through and find all those things where I did all the work. And then the other one I told you is when all these files are coming over, and you only have so much space on your site, and when I keep bringing them over, now it's going to be too much. That's why I'm using the video links off-site. I'm not, I'm not embedding them, I'm embedding them. I have so much stuff on there. So that's a couple of the big headaches I've had recently. That is very frustrating because I don't have the time to reinvent the wheel every time I want to talk.
So, running down the list, YouTube changed their API, and there are probably a lot of guilty parties in this situation, so I'm not even going to go there, but it has been repaired. They have repair released just recently, so it's likely that it hasn't been installed on your server. You have to check. But there's a fix for that. So the YouTube mashup, I totally get it. No, I completely understand. We hear you. We agree with you.
I was really frustrated with that because I get the email saying I can't get that, and I have to go in and fix them because I can't just give this ugly. I don't even have the pretty looking link, and I highlight it.
And this gets to putting down system administration as well, because again, YouTube changed the how things are embedded, and we responded to that with a fix that likely wasn't installed. So we need to figure out.
Well, is there a way that inspectors that come and use it and say, oh, hey, we found this problem and it's not working. This is fix, and you can ask your administrators to do it. Find out from the students that have frustration.
Right, that's not okay. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
and agree why we're expecting everyone on staff, and we're controlling, and all the fixes are on there. But yeah, until then, we have to figure out.
But I don't know when we're going to be in staff, and until I have classes.
Right. So we need to figure out the system administration to figure out, okay, how do we get the right updates on there, make sure the right modules are turned on, and you're getting the best experience, because you're not.
In terms of how can you know about these things, my expectation would be that as we move forward with our community site, that plugging into that and looking for forums and looking for places where we're communicating. And I'm not, it's so new, I don't even know exactly what the structure is for our community people.
But as an instructor, I don't have the time to go in and see where you have a problem. It's great if you guys send me an email saying, hey, we know the problem, go to this link to get more details.
This is my expectation. It's on a community site. You could subscribe to, I want one of those emails.
And
one of the problems we have in the past is we haven't had a vehicle. My expectation is that that's going to be the vehicle. We do communicate proactively with the designated administrators. So your administrators, they know about that, but they're probably...
Every time it comes out, or we know there's a problem, and we communicate a lot around the API change. So there were a lot of emails around that. And
for the YouTube one, though, we didn't receive anything until someone said there's a problem with it.
Well, I didn't even know anyone else knew about it. I just wrote it down that that's something I noticed.
I want to say that it's fixed. I want to say that it was in August when we saw that.
Oh, but it was just 3 days ago. 4 days ago, it didn't work. And it worked at the beginning of the semester. So August 18th started. Yeah, it worked. And it worked at the beginning of the semester. So I have a 5-week class. The first 2 weeks all my video shows. Week 3, they said nothing's working.
That's it. Yeah.
And then I had to go back, and even the first 2 that I knew worked because I saw them all. So I had to go back
we identified to fix it over the summer, but YouTube announced it last year. We should have fixed it a lot sooner as well. So there's a, we're culpable as well.
And then if I could have someone show me where my files are.
Yeah, some of these things.
Because I course copied it twice. I course copied that column twice thinking when they had it in present. They did, so now
yeah, your second and third ones, I don't. I think you need to go back to your help desk here and walk through that.
Because the new app you have
right.
to do, they're on here. It's on here, but it's not on my desk.
Go back to the help desk and walk through it, because either there's a switch that's been thrown somewhere or something. There's either something that's not right, or it's conceivable that there's an actual problem. And then we need to file a ticket with our support team. They're very good. They're up 24/7. They're always available. They will sort it for you.
Because when I course copied over summer, that's fine with my late, and I don't know if anyone has done that, probably because I have a late start class, so I'm doing it the last couple of weeks. So I don't know when,
Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely funnel that back in to Crafton's help desk.
Probably because I got to get my class going, and again, it's hard for us.
Yeah. The problem is, though, I mean, there's.
In a timely manner, so I have to do it old-fashioned. So
right.
I'm ready to that, and I'm going to have to redesign that course and course copy things one at a time over. And course do that right away. Course copy the whole thing. It's the second section of the same class I'm currently teaching. We usually don't want to have.
No, it's one copy.
Yeah, so I'm going to course copy for.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, sir.
I've got to go. Before I go, I want to say something.
Sure.
And I suggest get your voice activation where you're going. Next 1 minute, I'm going to give you $1 million worth of consulting. I'm going to give you a prognosis, diagnosis, prescription. Here's where you're going. First of all, prognosis. You're going to lose next 2 years, major share of business because of cancer. Diagnosis. Losing this because the transition from you to canvas is not difficult. There was no real emotional connection to your company. Please. In order to do so, you've got to make it for people to transition from to Blackboard. And you've got to make it motivating. Now, next 2 or 3 years, they're going to think about all the budgets and your skills metrics 3 years from now, last week, come back to Blackboard. We'll make it so easy. All those bugs and annoyances you have in Canvas, do that. Have a good company for years. Good luck. You're very good people. Glad I met you. Hope you're still around in 3 years.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
I think that pretty much covers questions I have.
So we've done a lot internally. Actually, before we started all this, we said, okay, let's put Learn 9.1 against Canvas and see how they compare, because we heard from users that Canvas was easier and better. And Canvas got a C+ and we got a C from third parties. So they were both in. And that's when we decided, okay, we got to start from scratch and create something that's incredibly easier. So did this, and the comparisons have now been sort of A- to a C, which we're happy about. Those are internal, so we don't have those for public consumption yet on the new systems. But let me look around and see what I can share, and I'm happy to give you my contact. as compared to our system.
where the university compared and over 100 pages long. It's very thorough, feature by feature, good, bad, and ugly. Some things we have, some things they have, vice versa, some things they don't have that we don't have. And the overall sentiment was to produce no compelling reason for them to change. So they make it up. And they allow them to share that support. So that's what we share. You guys just look up.
We're happy to share them.
I wanted to share a PC person's anxiety with a lot of what I'm seeing here. I think you guys are sounding very Mac, and I know some people like Macs and some don't, and I'm a don't. I see a lot of people saying, intuitive design and use and all that, and yeah, if your mind works that way. But I tried with the Macs, and I'm like, and everything that seems intuitive to people who love Macs and say, oh yeah, that's why I use it, because everything just gets done. I'm like, I don't want to do it that way. And so I'm just, thinking that maybe you're going to need a little more customization for us PC people who simply aren't going to work that way, because it feels like Windows 8. That was an awesome idea, and everyone hates it.
Right.
I mean, so, you got to watch out that if people don't think exactly the way you think they're going to think, they can still use the product. That's all.
Well, most of this stuff is being tested with real people before I use it.
Yeah, cool.
And actually, our main developers, our design teams, even though we're here on a Mac, the design teams, code that we showed, and all, they all use Windows. All of this design was actually done on Windows. And the mobile apps we showed today, we showed on Mac, but we should show on Windows as well. So it's definitely hear what you're saying, and we're probably having
It's a very hybrid organization. I have 10 people on my team. I'm probably 6 more.
Also, I don't know if this is a problem with Blackboard or with Macs and PCs, but I upload files, and my students will download them and print them on their Macs, and they'll be all messed up. So I don't know if that's something with the Blackboard.
That wouldn't be a Blackboard thing. That would
Okay.
nothing to do with
Mac can't handle my PC document. Okay.
I'm not even clearly sure why that would be the case. That seems weird.
Just a perennial problem I have. So they download and print all their labs off of Blackboard.
What are the labs? What format are they?
Word usually. I tried doing PDF instead, converting to PDFs, and it's still they print out all funky, and the questions will be on the wrong pages, and you can't find where their name is supposed to go.
Try looking for the switch in Word that embeds fonts. I know you can do it in PowerPoint. I think you can do it in Word. Because I think the problem you're having is fonts. That would be my first guess.
Do I turn that on or off?
You want it on to embed the fonts because the receiving system doesn't have those fonts.
Oh, okay.
They don't have them they're in the document. Makes documents really big, though. The other option is to look for fonts that are found on all the systems. So Arial is pretty universal. Everybody's got that. Maybe Times New Roman if you wanted a standard font. There are a few fonts that you can reliably find on every system. And if you find those and use those, the default fonts in Windows are only found on a Mac if the Mac has all installed. And it's like Calibri and Cambria.
Okay, and Calibri is the default. I hate that. So, okay.
Well, there you go. So
try to figure that.
Change that. You want to change that anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, my first guess would be font.
Okay, thank you.
I'll give it a card. If there's files that you find that aren't working, I can send it to my design team and say, hey, the engineering team, have a look at it. Give me some answers.
Yes, they're able to download them fine, but they just print. The pages are all off.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, what am I doing here?